Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. Good afternoon. Today is the 7th of May, it's the day after the coronation, and here we are at the Departure Lounge Cafe, which is near Alton in Hampshire, for their monthly classic car show. I've heard this referred to as the Crotchcluder Classic Car Show as well, but it's mainly known as just the Classic Car Show at the Departure Lounge Cafe. We've got some real treats here. Now the main theme really is 1995 and before, but there are some cars that are later than that, particularly for some reason today. If you have a Vauxhall VXR8, then you get into a sort of special area over there. But most of the stuff that's here is pre-1995, like this Panther here, for example. There's a whole variety of stuff, which is what I really like to see it showed, and a real kind of mixture of things. We've got some 30 stuff here, got some classic American stuff, but I really like this Mazda MX-6. Same platform as the Ford Pro, built in the same place in I think it was Flat Rock, Michigan these were built in. This one's a 5-speed manual. Classic sort of Mazda styling of the time. It's 2.5 V6 these were. This is quite a rare car in this country. On a case, so 92, 93. I'd very much like to drive one of these actually, viewers, that'd be good. Another car I like to drive is a Reliant Simulator GTE. I'm not going to say what everybody is supposed to say about these, because that's banned, viewers. Saying that piece of information is banned. So yes, a GTE, I think there's sort of a 3-litre Essex engine in it, on an S, so 77, 78. And then we have this Rover 75. Now I'm informed, I have seen this before, that this is a V6 one. We will though check the rev counter to be sure, and yeah, I think it's a 2.5 or 2 litre V6 automatic, this one. 2001, it's not a Cowley car because it's not got black cells. Not particularly to my taste, viewers, this sort of thing, but obviously the chap who owns this, it very much is his, so that's fine. Ooh, is this a Vauxhall Cresta? Yes it is, it's the PA Cresta. I think this is probably the facelifted one, I'm not sure. I think the size of the rear window is the way to tell with these. Obviously the Queen, I think, had an estate version of this or something, I seem to remember. Queen Elizabeth. This would be about 1960, something like that. They used to rust really, really badly, so it's nice to see something like this. The wheels, sort of road style type things. And then we have, oh gosh, something very lovely, a Sierra XR4i. I think we'll have a look at that later. And then we've got a couple of VXR8s. Oh, they're actually no Holden badge ones. Having just driven a Holden Monaro 5.7 litre V8, which was only about a week ago, we do like things like this, viewers. As I said, it's 1995 or before mostly, but we've seen quite a few of these, and there are more of these over there. We'll see what the interior of these is actually like in the later ones, because it's a bit later than the Monaro I drove. This is one generation on. This is the final, I think, Holden badge big saloon, actually, this. You could buy, obviously, a much less powerful version of this, but this is the sort of thing that tends to make its way over there, whether or not they are the official VXR8 that imports, or they're actually personal imports from Australia. But this has got VXR seats in it, so I think it might actually be a Vauxhall badge one with some Holden badges, I don't know. Got an Aston Martin here. I'm so bad on Aston Martin models, I don't even remember which one this is. Is this a Vantage? The V8 Vantage? I can't remember. I'll have a look at that to Triumph a bit later on, viewers. Some people struggling on this hill. It's a Pontiac GTO 1966. One of a vast number of classic American cars that are here. Good to hear some sort of people revving out on the hill because of the slippery slope. It's massive, isn't it? Look at this compared with the Aston Martin here, and look at the size of this Pontiac. It's just mad, isn't it? Well, Lotus XL, this would be a really late one because you're not allowed to put a plate onto a car if it's actually newer than the car. So, sort of 91, 92. I can't remember the last year for these actually. Ooh, and that is not a beige leather interior, that's a biscuit interior. But it has got wood and it's very nice. I like these wheels. They sort of seem appropriate actually. Kind of like a sort of John Player special vibe going on with this, but not really because this is a bit later than those. Ooh, very nice early Mark III Cortina. 1982 to 83, Lotus Esprit. I think this is a Series 3 from memory. It is. It's a Series 3. I love the sort of indented rear bumper with the Lotus name in it. That's very nice. Wow. Very early Mark I Cortina. It's not a facelift one. It will say console if it's really early. Yes, it does. This is a really early one. I'd say it's about 1963. It could be even maybe a 62. I don't know. It's a really, really nice condition. I mean, it has probably had some modifications. That dashboard's probably not original to it, but that's lovely. Oh, there's another one here. So this is a late one. This is a facelift one with the airflow ventilation 65. The facelift came in 1964 for the 65 model year. So you can see we've got a full width grille here as opposed to the earlier one. It says Cortina, and we have the airflow ventilation here in the rear pillar. That's another way you can tell the later ones. Oh, just super amazing. That's really good. And the instrument pack is different in here as well. You don't even get a rev gauge in the Super. You've got to add it on yourself. And don't worry, viewers, the stuff that's going past at the moment, we will be having a look at that later. How many shows do you go to, but there's little local ones like this, and see 2 Lotus XLs? That's interesting. 87, 88. Oh, viewers, first, hopefully, of many beige leather interiors. I do like a nice beige leather interior. 87, 88, and then 68, 69 MG midget, such as the one that I drove on channel in 2021. So it'd be a Mark III. This is a lot more standard than the one that I drove. We've got the disc sort of wheel covers on this. We've not got wire wheels. We've not got bumper delete or anything like that. This is what we look like in pretty standard. That's actually quite a local plate to the area as well. Triumph Spitfire Mark IV. I think these have the 1.3 in them. Sort of early 70s. Yeah, it's a 72, 73. And there's a later midget here. There's quite a few differences, aren't there, between this one 68, 69 and this one here, which is 70, 71. Different dash. They've both got the square arches, the round arches were later. The seats are maybe not original in this, but yeah, different sort of components in this. And then we've got these wheels as well, which look pretty good actually, and the black sills. And then the front ends could be different as well. I mean, those are aftermarket headlamps, but nevertheless. MGB, same sort of era, 70, 71, with the rose start wheels again. A different interior from the early ones, a sensible precaution having this cover on. Although we're hopefully not going to be having any rain today. Now this is a Range Rover Classic with a Triumph Herald body on it. Obviously a Herald's very easy to sort of get the body off, it's pretty simple actually. So this is obviously a good candidate for putting on the Range Rover chassis. You can tell straight away the wheels. And if you look in here, we've still got the Triumph Herald dash, but we've got a very familiar looking Range Rover bit. So either you like it or you don't. Quite obviously. Do I like it? I don't know, viewers. To be honest, I really don't know. I like this Mark III Zephyr though, that's interesting. Yeah, not really particularly me, but you know, somebody obviously likes it. There's stuff coming in. I think stuff started coming in an hour before the show officially opened at 2 o'clock. So they're going to run out of space in here, aren't they? This is crazy. That looks like a Ford Falcon, 1964. My knowledge of American cars, viewers, is terrible, so I do apologise if I've made a mistake. Obviously, I make many mistakes in these shambolic shuffles all the time because they are shambolic shuffles and they are by very nature shambolic. Yeah, Falcon Futura. Ooh, very nice. 1965 Ford Zodiac Mark III. I can't remember if these were called the Zephyr Zodiac by this stage or just the Zodiac. There was also, I think, a Zodiac Executive as well, but I can't remember if this is one or not. Automatic transmission. Yeah, just badges the Zodiac. But it might have said Zephyr though, I don't know, it's gone. So yeah, this 6-cylinder Z cars shape, although the very early episode Z cars had the previous generation Mark II Zephyrs in them. Ooh, a Hudson. Is it a Hudson Hornet by any chance, viewers? Oh, it is a Hudson Hornet, 53, with an interesting colour interior and bench seats and all sorts of other exciting things. I don't know if that colour scheme's original or not. Who knows? More Americana from back in the day, 1964 Ford Ranchero with a 289 engine. Based on the Falcon, I think, as well, these Rancheros. Tasca. More familiar Fords here. 1976-77 Ford Escort Mark II. Now this one, I think it looks a little bit like an RS, but I think it's probably just been made to look a bit like one. I don't think it's a real RS 1800 or whatever. Very nice though. These two-door Escorts are worth a lot of money now. And so are these Mark III RS Turbos, Series 1, sort of cat's eye spec. Similar to the one that Leslie Ash drove in the second series of Cat's Eyes, and I think it was 86 that came out, 85, 86. Oh, it's got a Turbo Technics badge on it. Does that mean it's even more spicy than the normal RS Turbo? Answers in the comments section below, viewers. Now this is interesting. It's a run-out special edition Vauxhall Cavalier Mark II. It's the LX. It looks a bit like an SRI, but it's not. I think these are the original wheels. You have the brochures there, and that sort of shows that it is. This wasn't the highest of specs. You can see there that it actually has windy windows. But the Mark II Cavalier, I have driven a Mark II Cavalier, and they are very nice to drive actually. I like to have a manual one. I've only driven an automatic. This final facelift came in 1987, so they only made it for a very short time, but it's a very original looking one actually. I like that. There's a bit of a contrast here. It's a Morris 10-4, it was built at some point in the 1930s, and it has a dicky seat, because I've seen it actually. The dicky seat's been put away, but when it arrived, the dicky seat was out. Mark II facelift Polo. There's actually a few of these here today. This has wheels from, I don't think they're off of Polo, I think they're off of a different Volkswagen. And it says 8 valve on the front, so this might have an engine swap in it. It might have had Mark II Golf GT engine swap. I've also got the dash in here from something like a G40 model. I can't remember if the Genesis, which is like a special edition of these that lasted for a while, actually had the full instrument pack in it. I can't remember now. And of course we must say hello to that_ratty_polo on Instagram. Okay, so yeah, it's the same age as the G40 coupe that I drove some years ago on the channel, which was quite an experience. These actually do have a brake servo in them. The pre-facelift ones don't for right-hand drive. Brakes are still pretty bad. They're not great. What have we got here? 1951 GMC pickup. sensible to put that to caution. Let's do fabric in this. I don't know what that's from. GMC 100 pickup. Northern Ireland plate on this MG Roadster. I don't know exactly what year this would be. I don't think it's a chrome bumper conversion because the dash is too early for that. It's got an automatic gearbox in it. That's rare. I think someone's breathed on this, haven't they? I don't think that's the original B series in it at all. I think that's a V8 head or something, isn't it? It's 2-cylinder heads. See, it's quite easy to put a V8 into an MGB because we did that standard. Let's look at the grille though. I don't know. Somebody in the comment section below enlighten me as to whether that's just a Rover V8 or it's a different V8 than that. Hillman Super Mix. This will be before 1965 because in 65 they changed the rear window and fitted the 1275cc engine to it. This will be the 1.6. It'll either be a Series 1 or Series 2. I don't know what difference it is. It's got a floor gear change in this one. I think you can have column shift in these, but this hasn't got it. Yeah, it could be anywhere between about 61 and 64 because not all local authorities adopted the suffix plates straight away. They only adopted them across the board in 65, so it could actually be as late as 64. Included headlamps as well. Oh, viewers, now this is more like it. Dark blue with a beige leather interior, Jaguar XJS. I do like a nice beige leather interior with wood and piping. Piping is even better than just wood and beige leather. It's a 4-litre, 95/96. I'm not sure if it's a celebration or not, but that's very nice viewers. We like that a lot. We also like this very late SD1. Say 86, 87, probably an 86 because that's when we finished production. Rover Vitesse. Don't ask me if it's an EFI or if it's a single or twin platinum, I'm not sure. Have a look at the interior. Oh, a very nice Vitesse steering wheel there. Yeah, so it's the business viewers. Very, very much for business. Someone has offered me a go in an SD1 actually, so I should be enjoying myself very much. I think we've seen this car before. Ooh, that was another tasty treat from the Austin Rover era. 1987 to 88. MG Metro 1300 Turbo. Don't mind if I do, viewers. That is rather tasty. Yes, I would like to take that home with me very much. All 93 horsepower. Another one of these immediately post-war General Motors pickups. This is a Chevrolet 3100. I don't know what year this is. Probably about the same era as that black one. I wouldn't be sure though. It's not really something I understand much about. Ooh, 1993 to 1994 Porsche 928 GTS. Gosh, it's one of the very latest 928s actually. This is right at the end. I think the finished production was in 1994. So airbag in this one. Interesting leather interior with piping, of course. I don't know actually if they're worth so much more these days than this 924, but maybe. Most of them are automatic, like this one. 94, I have actually driven one of these. I drove these in Scotland in December, which is maybe not the ideal environment to drive one of these. Cracked dash, of course, and all that sort of stuff. This will have a 2-litre Volkswagen Audi derived engine in it, which isn't a bad thing. It's a perfectly decent engine. This one is very nice, actually. That's a very, very good condition one. If that's original plate, which I think it is probably, it's 83, 84. And we'll go on to the next row. We'll start actually with this Beetle down here. It's a 1500 Beetle, but that's pretty nice, isn't it? It looks very sort of sympathetically restored actually, mostly original. And that is, a 67, 68. We'll have a look at the Caravan as well, because some of you like very small caravans. 1982 Ariba Puck 120. I have never heard of one of those. 67, there we go. Full of kind of sort of period accessories as well. We've got a Vantone 8 transistor radio. Excellent. Hello. Mitsubishi FTO. They did import these officially for a very, very short period of time. So they kind of think about a year or 18 months towards the end of FTA production. But this will be a personal import. Very popular colour. They were available with the V6, not all of them were V6s, but they were available with one. So yeah, 94, 95 on that. Ooh, we've got this looking tricycle here as well. It's quite a new one. Oh, we're very, very familiar territory with this here. It's a very, very early Mark II Ford Granada. They came out, I think it was August 77. So yeah, maybe July was some of the really early ones, but the vast majority of the early ones are on S plates, WC. So this could have actually been owned by Ford Motor Company themselves, because it's an Essex plate. It's not a guarantee, but it's a possibility. 2.8 gear with vinyl roof. A 2.8 injection. Very nice indeed. Thank you. Plymouth Fury. Sort of rough guide as to the year probably, so about 68, 69. Let's have a look at the plate. Yeah, about that sort of time. Dan Gurney, wow. Excellent. Fury 3. Similar sort of time, 1967 approximately. Ford Mustang. I was watching a film called Le Marginal, which is from 1983 with Jean-Paul Belmondo the other day, and there is one of these in there. It's a highly modified one in green. And then Mr. Brisdian very kindly brought me here today. He lives locally to where I do. This is the wrong front bumper for his car. He damaged the original one, unfortunately, a while ago. 1989 Nissan Sunny N13 1.6 GSX Saloon. There's Mr. Brisdian. Hello, sir. So yeah, this is why I came in today. I've driven this car several times actually. It's on No Budget Reviews if you want to see it. Just filmed all the way back in 2020. Very much in the sort of keeping of this particular event. I don't have a Volvo at the moment. It's Mr. Coleman, Rubbish Mechanic's got it, so I couldn't come in the period appropriate car today. Ford Anglia, I think it's a 105e, even regardless of its estate. I might be wrong about that actually. Somebody correct me in the comment section below. The estates are pretty rare. You don't see too many of them. Normally you just see the normal two-door saloon. But I think that the rear treatment of this car is very handsome. It's very different, this one, from the this for saloons, and this even has the 1200 engine in it. But yeah, it's really nice to see something like that. I think this is a replica 356 Speedster, judging by some of the details on it. If it wasn't, it would be worth about £300,000. I think it's probably a modified Beetle. Those I think are early 911 wheels from memory. Another Mark II facelift Polo. Again, the bread van shape. Same age, 92, 93. Again with the full instrument pack in it. It's just got a Spectrum on it. So it gets another Genesis. Wow. A rear wiper delete. Bread van aftermarket badge. They do have quite heavy steering and they're not very big, but they're not really the sort of cars that fit people like me very easily. But of course my parents had a pre-facelift one of these. They bought it in 1990. 1965 Morris Minor 1000, so it's after the October 64 revision, so we've got the latest steering wheel of this. I think these are something like mini R50 seats in there. That's a very common thing to put in. I'm just over 5 foot. It was difficult to reach the pedal. Yeah, change the front seat to make it easier to drive. You bought Boris in 2022. Hello to Boris. Boris the Morris. And this, I saw this coming in earlier. It's a very, very nice Jowett Javelin. Based up in Yorkshire. A lot of the car was made in Yorkshire, including the engine. It was all sort of unique bits, and I don't think they could actually get the components to the cars, ready in time for it all to come together, and that's one of the reasons why Jowett went bankrupt, I think, in '53. The Jupiter was the sports version of this. Very advanced car for time, flat 4 engine of their own design. In fact, we'll have a look at said flat 4 engine whilst we're here. And it's sort of down there. Radiator at the top. It's in very nice condition, isn't it? Very, very nice condition. Citroen CX with the 2-litre engine. We've had a bit of a debate, Mr. Brisby and I, about this car. That plate doesn't come up on the check sites, and with this black trim rather than the earlier chrome trim, this isn't any way as early as that plate would suggest. That plate would suggest on it that it's a 75, so one of the very first. The black trim suggests to me that it's not. We think this dates from the early 80s, not a phase 2 or anything like that, but it dates something from the early 80s, this car. The sort of hubcaps and things on it, I think, are slightly earlier though. 1986 Ford Capri 280 Brooklands. Now these were not that popular back in the day when they were made. The last one of these was registered in 1989, but they're all built by December '86. This one is in immaculate condition. They're worth now quite a lot of money. I did a walk around of one of these a long time ago, and that is a really stunning one. 1965 Ford Mustang. This one actually looks, compared with some I see at shows, quite standard actually. This one's an automatic. That interior is lovely, isn't it? That's had some restoration in it. Very nice colour. Ooh, I think I prefer this though, viewers. A Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit 3. It's probably dates to say the 1990s. And yes, viewers, it's got all the stuff we'd ever need in our lives. Beige leather interior with a wooden dash, and we have some piping too. What more could you ever ask for in life? Unfortunately, you need to be quite rich to actually run one of these, because you need to deal with the expensive repairs and fuel bills, but never mind. You can always dream. Now this is a Taunus, this is not a Cortina Mark IV, it's a Taunus, and this also has the 2-litre V6 Cologne engine, which was not available in our market. The 2 litres that we got were the Pinto engine, whereas in Germany, some of the markets with the Taunus, you could get a 2-litre V6 as well. So 78, 79 plate. Now here's the standard Anglia. We've seen this the estate so far. This is what standard looks like. It's deluxe. The deluxes are actually more common than the normal ones, because the standard Anglias had a much narrower grille, and it's really. I think I've only ever seen one standard Anglia, whereas I see tons of deluxe 105Es or Anglia Supers. What I don't see though is classic minis with local plates to the area on them. This one is not a Cooper. I can't remember what these were actually called in this trim, but look at this. This is a Mark 7 Mini. It's got the stalks from an R8 Rover. It's got an airbag. Unfortunately, they could never engineer a 5-speed gearbox from the standard, so any of these that you see with a 5-speed gearbox are aftermarket. It's on a P, so 90, 96, 97. It's a very nice colour. We'll just go down here, viewers, and we'll just have a look at some of the stuff on this sort of far right corner, because we need to finish part 1. We should be having other parts to do, as it looks like, which is fine. We're sure you also are happy to see so many lovely classic cars on a sunny May bank holiday afternoon. Actually, no, bank holiday tomorrow. I should correct that, because otherwise I'll get comments, won't I? Let's have a look at this Austin 1300 GT. Oh yes, please, viewers. We like these. We drove one of these on Second-Hand Classics at the Great British Car Journey back in January. And this is, yeah, this is like that one. This is the sort of correct spec for them. That is a lime flower interior though, which is interesting. Presumably that's how it was ordered. Same age as the other one. It's a 71, 72 on a K. Anyway, I'm going to have to calm my excitement down. There's still stuff coming in. And so thank you ever so much indeed for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like us and leave a comment below. And we shall see you again in part 2 for more incorrect information.